Considering the fact that I really don't like tracking product use very much, it might not be the best idea I've had to start another panning project in 2024, but it sounds like fun, and I really want to focus on using the products that I have, and so I'm going to do it anyway. This project also has the added benefit of helping me declutter my house this year, and so I just really thought it was a good fit. What is this project, you might ask? It's the Out the Door in 24 Project Pan. This is a Pantastic Ladies collab. That is a group that you can find on Facebook. It is the brainchild of Deb. Her channel name is Deb B, and I will have all the information for the project listed in the description box below in case you want to join in. So the makeup and beauty aspect of the project is that you take 24 items, and they can be any beauty items, skincare, hair care, body care, makeup, whatever you want it to be, and you simply focus on using those products up in 2024. Now, because I have a channel, I will be taking pictures of products, marking on pieces of paper how long pencils are, that kind of thing, so that each month I can give you an update and show you how much I have used that month. If you want to join in at home, just throw 24 products in a basket and see how many of them you use up by December 31st. The other aspect of this project that really made me want to do this is that you are also going to work on decluttering your home. And to do that, every month you're going to look for 24 items that you can move out of your house. That can be items of clothing, it can be shoes, it can be appliances. So it can be big items, but it can also be small things. Is there a pile of junk mail that you need to go through? If you throw out 24 pieces of junk mail, it counts. 24 old batteries in your junk drawer, you bet that counts. So it doesn't have to be big things. And if you move 24 items out of your house every month, by the end of the year, you will have gotten rid of 288 things that you didn't need. And while this is an introduction to the project, I do have an update on some items that I did move out in January. I'll get to those at the end, after I've told you about the products in this basket. I thought that I was going to do this with some hair care and skincare and makeup, but once I started pulling products out, I ended up with just makeup items. So let's go through these in the order I put them on my face. I really do think having a YouTube channel would be easier if I was a little more tech savvy. I already recorded this video once, but I recorded it with no sound. I do have a new microphone, and I had a little bit of trouble with connecting and getting things all turned on. But I tested it today, and it should be working fine. So since I had a dress rehearsal yesterday, it should go faster today, right? And then the added benefit is, since I was pulling these products right before I filmed yesterday, when I put my makeup on today, I was able to use most of the products on my face. All right, so starting out where we start out, and that is with sunscreen. I have 2 sunscreens here that I'm going to be including in the project, and the reason is because they're going to expire in 2024, and so I want to use them up before that happens. The first one is from Iris and Romeo. It's Weekend Skin, has an SPF 50 vitamin C, and it is a glowy sunscreen. It's also all mineral. It has 10% zinc oxide, and like I said, it's an SPF 50. This one expires in July, so I am going to focus on this one for the first half of the year. You can see right there where I have marked the amount on the container. I think there might be a little air in there, but I can't take the top off to get it out of there. So we're just going with that. And then each month I will make a new mark and see how much I've used. When this one expires in July, even if it's not gone, I probably will stop using it. I might continue for another couple of weeks or so, but probably not beyond August. And then I will start using this one. It's the St. Jane Luxury Sun Ritual Pore Smoothing SPF 30. This is a sunscreen and a pore smoothing primer, and it has desert rose, jasmine, and hibiscus. Again, it is a mineral-only sunscreen, 10% non-nano zinc oxide. When I hear nano, you know what I think about? Yeah. Okay. There is not much in here, so I don't think I'll have any trouble using this up in the second third of the year or so after I'm done with this one. Both of these, by the way, were a gift from my friend Cindy over at Beyond 50 Skin. Cindy has very dry skin, and she knows that I have oily skin. So she sent me a few of her PR products recently that she thought would be more applicable to those of us with oily skin, so that I could test them out and let you all know how they work. I do like this sunscreen. It is a glowy sunscreen, but it's not super glowy. And it's really good that I'm going to be using this in these winter and spring months, because that's when I'm more likely to want something a little glowy. I have plenty of glow all on my own in the summertime in the Midwest heat and humidity. So this one I'll use through July, maybe August if there's a little left in there, and then I'll start using this one for the next part of the year. That was a really long time spent on sunscreen. If I'm going to get through this without it being a 2-hour video, I better pick up the pace. Next, I have a couple of primers. The first one is probably the oldest primer in my collection, and that is the Revlon Photoready Perfecting Primer. I have used about half of it, and so I would just like to use this up before it goes bad. It's a really nice pore smoothing primer. I just have a lot of pore smoothing primers, and then this one gets buried at the bottom of the drawer, and I forget about it. The next one I have is actually not an old primer, but it's in here because I really don't like it very much, and I feel like I'm odd man out on this one. It is the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. Most people love this, and I feel like there's something wrong with me that I don't. But I don't. One of the things I don't like about it is the smell. And I don't know, maybe mine is bad or something, but it just smells bad. And I don't feel like it does anything for my skin. It doesn't smooth pores. I don't know that it actually helps keep my makeup on longer. It's probably the least favorite primer I have in my collection right now. And you could say, well, just throw it away then, but I spent money on it, and by golly, I'm going to use it. So those two are in there. I did find out that if I use this and then put this in the T-zone, it helps. I mean, I don't know if I'm just smearing something on my face and it's not doing any good or not, but anyway, I'm going to use it up. Moving on to concealer, I have the Morphe Filter Effect Soft Radiance Concealer. And this one is in the shade Light 6 Neutral. I really do like this concealer, but again, I just have a lot, and so I forget about it. I did try the flashlight trick. And if you don't know what the flashlight trick is, I'm going to tell you, because I had to ask my friend Andy. You take a flashlight, and you shine it up through the bottom of the container, and you should be able to see where the product is. But on this one, I can't. And so I don't know if that means I haven't used hardly any of it, but I don't think that's it, because when I look down in there, it doesn't seem like it's all the way full. Anyway, so I can't mark where I'm at on this, at least not right now. Maybe if I use more, then the flashlight trick will work and I really do just have a full tube. I don't know. It has been laying down in a drawer, so I'm going to try to store it standing up and see if that helps me determine how much is in there. Then I have this Becca eyeshadow primer. I got this on Amazon, and I can't find this exact brand anymore, but there's a lot of them that look like this packaging, and I think it's supposed to look like the P. Louise eyeshadow base. This color, by the way, is 1 medium. It's a little bit yellow, but it's not bad, and it does a really good job of keeping my eyeshadow on and not creasing. So I do want to use this, but I often find myself reaching for this one instead, and you can see this one's almost gone. So we're going to put more use into this one and see if I can get it gone. For foundation, I have 2 products in here, but they have to be used together in order to work. And that is the Misha Perfect Cover BB Cream in the shades 21 and 27. 21's too light, 27's too dark. Put them together and they're just right. The perfect shade for me is 23. I have that one too. So I want to use these two. And I could put them in here as one item since I have to use them together. But sometimes I use this to mix with a foundation that is too dark. And sometimes I use this to mix with one that's too light. So I decided I'd keep them separate because I may not always use them together. But I did use them today. I really like the Misha on my oily, mature skin. I think it gives a nice finish. It lasts well, doesn't get too shiny or oily, and so it's a really nice formula. I have purchased 3 tubes, I think, of the 23, and then I have these, so it's probably one of my most purchased foundations. And then powder. I think this is my oldest powder in my inventory. This is from Flower Beauty, and one reason I want to use it up is because it's just so big and hard to store, and it sits on this little thing over here, but it's kind of under my desk, and then I forget it's there. And so anyway, it's very, very finely milled. I'm going to take the sifter off of here so you can see how much is in here, because I can't really mark the Did you see the powder just go poof when I took that off of there? So there's not much left in there. I don't know if you can even see it. I don't think it'll take long to use that up. And so I'll be really glad. I like the powder, so I don't want to just throw it away, but I'll be glad to move it on and get rid of this huge component. All right, moving on to some color products. I have 2 bronzers. I have a ton of bronzers, but when I did my PUD project, I actually used up 3 bronzers that year, and I think I can get through both of these. So this is a cream. This is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer in Honey Drip. And you can see there's a pretty good dip in there. And if you're wondering why it looks so weird, like somebody dug around in there, they did. Well, I did. It was looking kind of dried out on top. And so I wondered what would happen if I stirred it. And so I did stir it and then kind of pressed it back down, and it helped a lot. When I put my brush in there, I don't like these little pots for one thing, but I like using this Real Techniques brush for it. This is the Expert Face Brush. It fits in there a little better than some of my other brushes do, and it's really dense. So when I put it in there, it kind of smooshes it up the sides, and then it also gets a little hard on top. So if you're noticing that your putty bronzer isn't really picking up on your brush, I just used the end of a brush and went in there and kind of stirred it and then packed it back down, and it helped. So anyway, that one. And then I have a powder, and that is the Laura Geller Beach Matte Baked Hydrating Bronzer in Siesta Medium. So you can see there's already significant pan in there, and I'm going to try to make that pan bigger every month. I also have 2 blushes, a cream and a powder. The first one is from Doll 10. This is the She's a Doll in their Hydrogel Cream Balm Blush. I got these when Jen let us know a year and a half ago or so that Doll 10 was selling all 8 of their cream blushes for $32. So I bought the whole set. And then last year when I did my declutter, I got rid of 4 of them because some of them were so similar, and it just took forever to try to figure out which one I wanted to use because there's no indication on here what color is what, and I don't remember what color is what. So I'd have to go through and open every one of them. And then, so what I did was I took a sticker and I put it on there, and then I rubbed some of the blush on it. So that does help. I can just look at the back of it, and it's not perfect because this isn't exactly the color, but at least it lets me know if it's warm, cool, dark, whatever. So this was probably the most neutral of the ones that I kept, and I don't really have a whole lot of wear showing in there. I always use this stippling brush, and so that's why you can see the little brush points in there. But I hope that next month we can see a little bit of a dent in it. And then the powder blush that I'm bringing in is the Essence Mosaic blush in All You Need Is Pink. I don't think that this is available anymore, and so that's one reason I want to use it up, because I do like using things on my channel that you guys can get if you want them. But I also want to use up the old stuff too. And so this one is just probably my favorite pinkish neutral blush. And I think you can see the ridges of the pan. It doesn't actually have pan in it yet, but I can see the ridges of the pan. And so hopefully by the next update, there'll be a little bit of shiny pan showing through. Okay, now this one is really pretty ambitious. And it's ambitious because I've never actually used up a highlighter. I did use up a blush or 2 when I was doing my PUD project, but I've not ever finished a highlighter. And I brought in 3 of them, but there's a reason for it. Hear me out. So the first one I put in was from Wander Beauty, and it is the shade After Hours. It's a gold toned highlighter, and there is kind of a dent in it. So I have made quite a bit of use out of it, but it's probably the oldest highlighter in my inventory, and I got it in an Ipsy. Then I have this Becca Mini. This is Rose Quartz. Oh, goodness. I guess if I break it, I don't have to use it, right? It's fine. It's fine. And this is a pink toned highlighter. I think maybe you can see where I'm going with this now. And this one has been used, but there's not much use showing in that pan. So fortunately, it's a mini and not a full size. This was a trio that I got at Marshall's or TJ Maxx after Becca went out of business. And there was Champagne Pop and then another one, and I can't remember what they were, but Champagne Pop broke all the time, and I finally just got tired of dealing with the mess. So when I did my declutter, I got rid of that. And then the other one was either too dark or it was really similar to other highlighters that I have, so I got rid of that one too. And then this one is not old, but it is a Super Shock formula. It's the ColourPop Super Shock in Flexitarian. I saw Mandy Lee for years talk about this highlighter, and I wanted it so bad. And so one time when ColourPop was having a sale, I was like, yep, I'm getting it. But the problem with Super Shocks is they dry out. And so this one is a more icy kind of light champagne. So I have a pink, I have a gold, and I have a champagne. And that's why I brought 3 of them in here, because I do wear highlighter every day, but I want it to match the undertone of whatever other makeup I'm wearing. So the Flexitarian, again, you can't really see much use, although I did like dig my fingernail through it one time, and I just want to use it before it dries out. Moving on to eyes. I have never used up an entire eyeshadow palette. I have used up shades in an eyeshadow palette, and I've hit pan in several shades in a palette before, but I want to use up a palette. And so the one I'm putting in here is from e.l.f. It's an e.l.f. Bite Size. This is the Cream and Sugar. It has significant pan in this light blending shade right here. And then the 2 shimmers both have pretty good dents in them. So my goal for this palette, I'm trying to be reasonable here. I want to use these 3 colors completely up, and I want pan in this one. And the reason I don't have a goal of using this one completely up is because I don't use this deep brown color very often, and when I do use it, I don't use a lot of it. So I may play around with using it for eyeliner and that kind of stuff, but I often don't even use an eyeliner above the lash line. So I think using this one and these 2 completely gone is a pretty good goal, and then pan in this one. Obviously, this is probably going to be the one that gets used first, and so I will have to bring in other palettes to go with this to use it up. But I'm kind of excited about using it up. Then I brought in 2 eyeliners, a brown and a black. The brown one that I brought in is the Wet n Wild Kohl eyeliner pencil in Simma Brown. Now, you guys see me use this all the time. This thing is huge. I have a black one that's fairly new, and you can see how much different they are. And I want to use this thing up. I want to buy a new one. I want to get to a point where I can spend 98 cents and buy a new one. So that one's in here. And then I also have the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof in black. And this one has that much left. So it's not a lot, but I really don't wear black eyeliner very much at all. Then I have 3 lip products. I have a lip pencil, and this is the Moira Signature Lip Pencil in Posh Pink. And this is just a pretty much neutral pink. I wear this a lot. I do have it on today. To go with that, I have a ColourPop Lippy Pencil in Cookie. And I think it goes with it pretty well. And then the e.l.f. Mint Melt Lip Gloss in Chocolate Mint. And that goes like that. The Mint Melt has been laying down, but I put a little strip of tape on there, and the bottom is where the level was. So I'll either I'll just put new tape, or I might actually, what I'm going to do. Okay, making adjustments on the fly. What I did was I took a sticker and I put it on there, and then I can mark with a marker, and that way I can keep track of the marks. And also this one I'm going to try to leave standing up so that I can see how much is in there, because right now it's been laying down and I can't tell. Fortunately, I marked it yesterday before I laid it down. For anything that is a pencil, I put marks on this piece of paper. Pretty high tech. There's the Wet n Wild Brown, the black, the Moira, and the ColourPop. So what I did with the ColourPop and the retractable eyeliner was I rolled them all the way up, and you can see there's not very much left in there. And then I marked that level on the paper. Okay, 2 more products, and those are setting sprays. I currently have 7 setting sprays, and that's just too many. Now, one of them is the e.l.f. setting spray that has SPF, and I really only use that if I need to up my SPF in the afternoon because I'm outside or something. So I'm not really counting that as a daily use one. So I have 6, and I don't need 6. So I'm going to try to use up a couple of these. And this LA Girl setting spray, I actually really like it. It just gets shoved to the back, and I always forget about it. It has a really nice mist. I used this today. You can see where my mark is. It does not have alcohol, but it does have fragrance. And then this one is from AOA Studios, and I got this when I did a full face of Shop Miss A, which is probably longer ago than I really want to admit, but I think the setting spray is fine. And so I haven't used this very much at all, and I was thinking that I didn't like the sprayer on it, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And this one just says lightweight, long-lasting matte finish. I don't know if it has alcohol or not, but it definitely has fragrance. I can smell it. So I am going to use up those setting sprays. Those are my 24 products that I am going to be working on to use up in 2024. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to abandon my PUD project use up the dribs and drabs. So my goal is to hopefully have more than 24 products. If you watched my last video, which was my empties, I actually had 12 makeup products just in that. But those are products that were almost empty, and these are ones that have a lot more in it, so it's going to take longer. Then I mentioned that I already did declutter some things from my home in January, and I didn't keep an exact count of them, but I'm pretty sure there was more than 24. Some of the things were clothes. I had gotten down my old sweaters, like early 2000 sweaters, because I was looking for something to wear with my faux leather leggings, and I remembered that I had a longer sweater. Remember when we wore like sweaters and stirrup pants or sweaters and leggings long time ago? Anyway, so I pulled them out, and I was surprised to find that there were some of them that were actually on trend. I washed them, and they're in my closet to be used, but there were a couple of them that I discovered were really itchy, and I didn't remember them being itchy. And then I remember that I always wore them with a long sleeve turtleneck under them. Well, I can't do that now. I would spontaneously combust if I had a turtleneck and a sweater on. And so I have a sweater on now, but I have a tank top on with it. So anyway, those are going. There were 2 of those, and then there was another sweater in there that had a big stain on it. And so that one's going to go. So I had 3 sweaters that I pulled out of storage that I'm actually going to declutter. And I also had a tote of clothes that were in the basement that were my son's. He hasn't lived at home for 3 years, maybe. And so I figured that there wasn't anything in there that he wanted. He took what he wanted, but I got his confirmation that yes, there wasn't anything in there that he wanted. And so I was able to donate those clothes as well. And I think there were 2 or 3 t-shirts, a flannel shirt, another like button-up church kind of shirt, a couple pairs of pants, and that sort of thing. So I don't know the exact count, but I think between mine and his, we probably had 12. And then I did my brow, mascara, and eyeliner declutter earlier in the month, and I got rid of way more than 24 products in that. So I met my goal of at least 24 additional items out of my house. Like I said, I am planning on doing more decluttering, and I am going to document that process. If you are starting out decluttering and you go, and like me, you go and you watch decluttering videos on YouTube, and you're like, their house is perfect. And it's a little bit demoralizing because my house is not perfect. But they also started from somewhere. So a phrase I heard once that I hold on to in situations like this is don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle or end. And that's so applicable to so many things. When you're just getting started, it's going to be messy. It's not going to be perfect, and it's okay. So we just have to start where we are. And I'm going to start in my bathroom. That will be the first thing that I declutter. I've already started working on it a little bit that I didn't document, but there's a lot more to do. In case you can't tell, I'm from the Midwest, and that Midwestern goodbye sometimes makes it hard to know when to wrap this up, but I'm just going to do it. If you've got more time and you want to hang out some more, watch one of these videos. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Bye-bye.